back to Alabama Live. Montgomery Christian School is really focusing on mental health coming this month and bringing in a renowned speaker as part of a special series of events to focus on mental health and suicide prevention. This is Pam McLemore, by the way, who's the head of school at Montgomery Christian School. You've told me about this speaker and this guest already because you're so excited about bringing him in. Tell us who he is and a little bit about him.
Okay. We're so thankful to have Dr. Matthew Sleeth coming. He was an emergency physician for a very long time, and he started to see a big uptick in, now we have 1.5 million a year that will go into the emergency room with a suicide attempt. With that, you know, there are 10 million people a year that struggle with mental health, specifically with ending their life. 1 in 8 people struggle with depression. And so with that uptick, Dr. Matthew Sleeth really started researching, okay, the only answer to suicide is prevention. So he has written a book called Hope Always, which I highly recommend. My staff and I have been reading it. And with Hope Always, the book really talks through how not only about preventing suicide, but also how to talk about it. What does it look like to normalize that talk of every day saying, okay, we need to be healthy, and what does that look like?
Talk a little bit about why we wanted to focus on this. This was something that obviously we've heard a lot about. We've talked a lot about it. We did a special series here at WSFA 12 News about mental health, trying to normalize that conversation. But why is Montgomery Christian School interested in focusing in on mental health and suicide?
So every year Montgomery Christian School brings in a community speaker for everybody to come and listen to. And with partnering with Central Alabama Community Foundation, I went actually and heard about Dr. Matthew Sleeth. I think all of us have somebody close to us, or maybe even ourselves, that struggle with depression. And so again, you know, I'm a teacher at heart, and we want to make sure that we have open conversations. And here in Montgomery, we're uniting. There's so much momentum here, and we want to make sure that people who struggle with mental health know that we love them and we care about them, and we want to make sure that our verbiage is explaining that and explaining our hearts.
Talk a little about who you're hoping will be a part of this event. Who will come and listen to what he has to say?
So we have 4 different events. The first 2 are on Sunday, March 2nd. One is at 9:30 over at Heritage Baptist. The next is at 6 o'clock in the evening on Sunday at First Baptist. Then the next one's on Monday at 6 o'clock over at Young Meadows Church. All 3 of those are really for anybody that's either struggling with mental health or have somebody in their life, which I think most of us do when we have 1 out of 8 struggling with depression, and to come and to hear from Dr. Matthew Sleeth. He'll speak for about 30 minutes, but he's also very good at Q&A. So he'll have some question and answer time. I'm honored that he would come to Montgomery to really speak on this issue that, again, our numbers haven't been this high since the Great Depression. And so it really is time to say, okay, how do we love our next generation, but also how do we love the person next to us well?
Are these events we need to buy tickets for ahead of time?
This is the most amazing part. With Central Alabama Community Foundation, we're able to offer this to our entire River Region community for free on Sunday, again at 9:30 at Heritage Baptist Church, and then on Sunday evening at 6 at First Baptist, and then Monday evening at Young Meadows Church. Please come and just be educated, because that's what Montgomery Christian School is really about. Can I also say, though, on Tuesday for $15 you can come if you're a social worker or a pastor or a counselor. You can come and have lunch with Dr. Sleeth, and you can come hear from him a little bit more one-on-one time about the prevention elements that he's bringing in.
And what are you hoping, and short term and long term, what are you hoping, what kind of impact do you hope this makes? What kind of change are you hoping we get out of this?
Conversation. So we need to start talking and not being afraid. If somebody brings up ending their life, we need to be able to not only be able to talk about it, but do it in a healthy way. And he actually gives 12 different points of how to bring up conversation. What does it look like to continue that conversation, and how to care for yourself and for your others well. He even talks about on the elementary level, for example, he's coming to speak to some schools, ours being one of them. So even on the elementary level, he teaches students how to halt. So if something is the matter and we go right to suicide, what are maybe, are we hungry? Are we angry? Are we lonely? Or are we tired? Or is there a combination of those? And sometimes just that stopping, that halt, again, hungry, angry, lonely, or tired, can help us to go into a place in our brains of stopping and getting healthy again.
Yeah, really reassessing the actual situation instead of just what we feel the situation might be.
You're right.
Yeah, Pam, thank you. Thank you for putting so much effort and bringing him here, and thank you for starting the conversation that we hope will start to turn some of those numbers around. We appreciate it, and for offering it for free. That's amazing.
It is.
Thanks for being here today.